Thank you so much, Red. And this is a beautiful building, and my partners in government for being here. This is, just it's amazing. Both the councilwoman and senator, they often talk about the great things out here in Staten Island. We continue to watch it grow, both council persons as well, and we're excited about this. And we had some of the great things from this great organization in Brooklyn. We partnered before in Brooklyn, and we saw the beauty of Brooklyn Grange in many areas, Navy Yard, and I believe in Sunset Park also. So this is just a continuing expansion of how we use our roof space. We can't grow more land, but we do have more rooftops that we can utilize. And it's great to be here on Staten Island during Earth Week as we continue to look at the great things we're doing around Earth Week. Every New Yorker and every community deserves open green space and access to sustainable, healthy, nutritional foods. You know that's the cornerstone of what I talk about all the time. The power of access to healthy food, and the partnership here really personifies that. And this rooftop farm provides exactly the food that we want to see on our tables, and we want our children and families consuming. The roof of this building has been transformed into a place for fresh, organic vegetables to grow. That's a key and part of our environmental justice, and we're creating a more sustainable living, eating city. And by being creative like this gives us an opportunity to create the partnership that we want. I've said it before, and we often ignore the role that food plays in the destruction of our environment. Oftentimes we talk about carbon emission, we talk about burning the use of cars and others, but we don't engage in what food plays in the role. No one wants to talk about the negative impacts that our overconsumption of meat and dairy is doing to our environment, and it's time for us to put this conversation front and center, shifting to a more sustainable plant-based diet, and growing fresh vegetables are a key to building a city that supports both human and planetary health. It is crucial if we want to get it right. And the rooftop farm does more than just grow vegetables. It absorbs storm weather. I recall during the storm, Senator Savino and I are walking these streets and watching the flooding that has impacted this community, and we need to think differently on how we deal with the ever-changing environment that we are experiencing. And we need to protect New York harbors in the process. So this amazing creation here, more than 32,000 square feet of hard and roof that have been covered with soil, strong and sturdy. I did a little picking earlier. This project has been funded by DEP's Green Infrastructure Grant Program, $670,000 to build this farm and deliver healthy and greener food for Staten Islanders. Produce from the rooftop will be delivered to the Commons Cafe just down the road. 100% of the cafe's profits are donated to scholarships for schools, street beautification, and other projects in the community. Food that isn't delivered will be donated to local pantries. This is just a win-win all the way around, and we're expanding this green roof programs across the entire city. The partnership is amazing, what we're doing with our schools, what we're doing in the food pantries. It's about how do we recycle and have zero waste with food. So not-for-profits, private property owners, and businesses can apply to the DP year-round program. This is what climate and food innovation looks like. This is environmental justice for everyone, and I want to thank all of my partners involved. This is the direction we want to move our city, and so again, thank you so much. Great job.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Of course, we're all looking forward to seeing and tasting the terrific produce that this farm will generate. And as the mayor mentioned, what makes me and my colleagues at DEP excited is that this roof will now manage 3.5 million gallons of stormwater each year. At DEP, we try to capture as much stormwater as possible before it can enter our sewer system so that it doesn't overtax and cause flooding, and it doesn't lead to combined sewer overflows that pollute our harbor. And to do that, as the mayor said, we've been installing green infrastructure throughout the city, incorporating it on sidewalks, at NYCHA facilities, in parks, and in playgrounds. And we've taken that, as this facility demonstrates, a step farther by partnering with private and nonprofit organizations like the Nicotra Group to install green infrastructure on private property through this Green Infrastructure Grant Program. Since the program has begun, we've committed more than $14 million to more than 34 private property owners and local organizations interested in being part of the solution. And this is just one aspect of the great progress that we're making, which I think is obvious to all New Yorkers when we realize that New York Harbor today is cleaner than it's been at any time since the Civil War. In 150 years, it's not been as clean as it is today. We still have a lot more work to do on stormwater management, but we have more funding available. So if we have more projects, we're always looking for partners in the private sector, and that information is available. And I'd like particularly to thank Lois and Richard for creating a great sustainability business model and sticking to it even through the pandemic when times got tough. You didn't waver at all, and thank you for that kind of leadership. And as the mayor said, I'd like to recognize the work of Brooklyn Grange, which designed this project and has been a great partner to DEP and to the city for so many years. I'd like to introduce quickly and acknowledge a couple of colleagues from the city. First, I did not mention Gus, the acting commissioner of buildings. Thank you so much for being here, a key partner, Gus Sarakis, on so many initiatives related to sustainability. Our deputy commissioner, Angela Licata, who oversees our green infrastructure program. Our assistant commissioner, Pinar Balci, our program director, Melissa Enoch, and our project manager, Nylene Uten. Thank you all for going above and beyond in creating a greener and cleaner New York. And now let me introduce our local council member, David Carr, for a few remarks.
Thank you so much, Commissioner. Appreciate your coming out here today. I want to thank the mayor for once again returning to the Mid-Island. When he had his first press conference here, first week, he promised that Staten Island would be the never forgotten borough, and he walks that walk and talks that talk every day of his administration. And so I thank him for being with us today and for his leadership. I also want to thank my colleague from Queens, Jim Gennaro, who chairs the Environmental Protection Committee, really one of the original champions of sustainability and resiliency in the city, and so glad that he once again has the gavel of that committee and will prove to be a great partner for us here in Staten Island. This is just a phenomenal demonstration of what Staten Islanders can do, when they have the support of government. Rich and Lois Nicotra were clearly the perfect stewards for this property, and they prove that day in and day out. And this urban farm, this rooftop greening, is really a great example of why. And the mayor talked about an over-reliance on overconsumption of meat and cheese. I'm a perfect example of what happens, when you have that kind of diet. And so I'm going to have to take him up on this challenge and make use of this urban farm. And we need to see more of this, and we need to invest in more opportunities and find creative ways to reduce flooding here on Staten Island. We saw what happens with tidal surge after Sandy in 2012, and we saw what happens when you have unprecedented volumes of rain from above in communities that are not on the waterfront. And so we need to do everything we can to retain water on site and to make sure that we don't need to invest more in the capital sewer projects that take often too long to come online. And so we need to find creative solutions like this one in order to make those plans feasible. So just so glad to be here, and thank you again for the investment in this wonderful space.
Now I'd like to invite Lois and Richard Nicotra, our hosts, to say a few words.
Thank you very much. We want to welcome all of you here to our official opening of the Nicotra Grown Organic Rooftop Farm. This is a special day for us. We have been working on this project for 7 years, starting with Maria Torres Springer, and we're finally here. It was a labor of love, but you know, this is so wonderful to see people up here, to see our plants growing, and we are especially proud to welcome the mayor here. We're so proud that you could be with us today, and all our elected officials, DEP, and Brooklyn Grange. And I have to say a special thanks to our Nicotra Group staff who worked so hard to get everything together here. So thank you all.
Again, thank you for coming. When I saw the guy with the building department jacket on, I started shaking. I said, "You're not going to give me a fine or anything, are you?" But he seems like a nice guy. I'm going to get his card so I can call you. But thank you, because when the mayor, we also own the Hilton Hotel, and when the mayor was campaigning, he talked about people like us, business people, trying to make it in New York City and in Staten Island. And you seem like a great guy. So just don't give me a fine today, please. And thank you to DEP and the city. This is the first time in 46 years we ever got a grant from the city. 46 years doing this. And we're going to use that to everyone's advantage. I mean, we have 2 not-for-profit restaurants on this property. We give 100% of the profits to charities on Staten Island. We're very proud of that, and this produce will be used there. We also own the Hilton Hotel across the street. So if the mayor decides to get married someday, at the Hilton, his salad will be made with a tomato grown here, not in California, green, put in a truck, gassed over, and we're going to continue that. We also have a vineyard that we're putting up on the ground floor, and as opposed to making wine, we're going to make table grapes, because you can make table grapes in 2 years as opposed to wine 7 years, and we won't be getting any awards for our winemaking. So those table grapes will be donated to the soup kitchens here on Staten Island. So this whole area has been, you know, and this was city property. We did this with EDC when Maria Torres Springer was in charge of that. So I want to ask the mayor. I'm going to give the mayor a challenge, because this is a day very cold. So, Mayor, will you come back here in the summertime when everything is in bloom, when we have a ton of Bosnigol, if anybody's Italian, know what Bosnigol is? And if you do that, I am going to plant a fig tree up here in your honor. I'm going to put the Mayor Eric Adams fig tree if you come back when it is beautiful up here. So thank you to the city. Thanks for Brooklyn Grange. Thank you, DEP and everyone. And thank you for coming here. And come back. Come to the Hilton. Support the 2 not-for-profit restaurants in our project. Thank you very much.
We'll invite some of our other elected officials who are here up to speak. Councilmember Camilla Hanks.
Yes, thank you very much. Hi, good afternoon. Thank you so much. This is a farm with a view, and what a beautiful one. I have to thank this administration, the Environmental Protection Agency, and my colleagues here for making this happen today. We have to have sustainable food sources, and this is the beginning. Creative, wonderful ways to make sure that we are creating gardens and sustainability. So I'm really happy to be here today. I'm happy to be here with my colleagues. I hope that there is a workforce development component to this. I hope that this is an expansion to this, that we can teach young people horticulture. This is a workforce development project. I hope to come here in the summer to help in harvest, but I also hope that we're looking at other spaces, especially in the North Shore, where we can continue to build these wonderful and beautiful garden spaces all over Staten Island. And I thank the mayor very much for being here and my colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Now, Chairman Gennaro.
Sure. I think my hat's gonna blow off. If it does, all right, I'll just take it off. What the heck? I'm gray anyway. Like, let everybody see it. And yeah, very, very grateful to be here with Lois and Richard. Give them another round of applause for doing everything they've done over 46 years. You'll get another grant in 46 years, and may you live to 46 years even after that. It's always a great privilege to be with Mayor Adams, a great mayor who is green on many levels with regard to making sure the stormwater is taken care of. We all saw what happened during flooding, and his great commitment towards nutrition and how we eat and how New York City gets healthy. So we want to give him a great round of applause for being the great leader that he is. That wasn't loud enough. That wasn't loud enough. Okay, now you're talking. And his great environmental team, Rit, who I go back with to the old days when we started the whole green infrastructure thing. Angela Licata, who is very grateful to be here with all the work that she's done over the decades. And a very, very special shout out to my colleagues in the council. Councilmember Carr, a great environmental champion and a great friend. Councilmember Hanks, also a great environmental champion and a great friend. And Diane and everyone. It's just, this is a win-win-win. We get to capture stormwater. We get to grow healthy food. We get to support not-for-profit organizations. There's no way that I wouldn't be here today. I look forward to many, many more ribbon cuttings like this, and we'll do everything we can at the council to support projects like this and to support this great mayor in his quest to make this the greenest and healthiest city that ever lived. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council Member. Now I'd like to recognize State Senator Diane Savino.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you. It is really a privilege and an honor to be here today with my colleagues from local government, particularly my good friend, the mayor of the city of New York, Eric Adams. I'm always happy to be with him. And it is really a privilege to be here with the Nicotras. You know, they were a little bit humble. They said they own a hotel. And while that is certainly true, they are a lot more than just hotel owners. In fact, we are here at the teleport because of the dogged determination of Richard and Lois Nicotra, who saw the city and the state abandon this strip almost 20 years ago. And they refused to give up on it. And they really are responsible for the entire resurgence of South Avenue and almost every building that's here. They are the reason we are here. They had the vision. And I want to thank the mayor and his administration for seeing through on the completion of what they started several years ago, this farm. And it's so important that we're here during Earth Week. You know, the history of Staten Island is a farming community. You know, you may not realize this, Mayor Adams, that the last working farm in New York was on Staten Island, Decker Farm. It's partly here, it's a stone's throw away. And so we understand farming on Staten Island. God knows we understand eating, and some of us could certainly eat better. I myself am a work in progress. I'm prepared to eat a lot of these vegetables. I still like to eat, things that move and swim. And I can't give up cheese, but I'm going to do my best to add more plant-based items into my diet. And this will be part of that process, educating people, making sure that they understand that we can control our health if we control what we put in our mouths. And we can control our environment with good, smart urban planning. And we don't have to be victims to our environment, and we don't have to wait decades to make improvements, that we can do things slowly and incrementally, and we can get the type of, experience that we need. And so that's why it's a great day to be here with all of our colleagues in government, city, state, and federal, and this is a great day for Staten Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane.
Thank you, Senator. And now Assemblymember Michael Cusick.
Thank you. Once again, I want to thank the mayor for coming out here to Staten Island, but particularly to the 63rd Assembly District. Thank you, with my council partner here, David Carr. This is a great day, but this serves many purposes. This event, sustainability in Earth Week. As the representative for the 63rd, it's very important for me to be able to provide for our constituents. Also, as chair of the Energy Committee up in the Assembly, this is a very important event for me to attend, to make sure and to support our partners in the city when it comes to projects with sustainability. I want to thank DEP, I want to thank the city, I want to thank Brooklyn Greens, and again, I want to join that bandwagon and thank our hosts, the Nicotras, because it is no surprise when I did get the information this morning that there would be an event today and that it would be about the sustainable garden on top of a roof, a building, that it would be the Nicotras who would be hosting it, because that's the type of partners they are with government and to make our community better. And this will make our community better, not only as a press event that it looks good to do during Earth Week, but it will affect all our lives. It will affect us, the sustainability part, but it will affect our children as the mayor is pushing forward, and we as partners will help in showing that there should be healthier lifestyles as you go further in your life. And this is an example to our young people that we are taking care of the environment, but we're also taking care of them and their well-being and their families. Hopefully they'll tell their parents to eat healthy and to eat at the Hilton. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember. And then finally, but by no means least, you're going to say a few words, Anastasia Plakias from Brooklyn Grange.
Thank you. Happy Earth Week, everyone. Thank you so much, Mayor Adams and Commissioner Agrawal, for standing with us today in support of a greener and more resilient New York City. And a big thanks to Lois and Richard Nicotra for including this valuable piece of green infrastructure in your development. As we stand here on unceded Lenape territory, we recognize the responsibility we have to the first people of this land and to future generations to be stewards. And this roof can help us do just that. This green roof is an environmental asset that improves air quality, increases biodiversity, and manages stormwater. In the last 24 hours alone, this roof prevented over 100,000 gallons of stormwater from running off into the sewer. Yeah, let that sink in. By summer, this will be a productive agricultural operation, providing fresh, healthy crops and connecting New Yorkers to their food system. And it creates economic opportunity and supports jobs. Imagine if the bare roofs of buildings across the city were put to such use. The vision is within our reach. At Brooklyn Grange, we are building green spaces across the boroughs that will work for New Yorkers around the clock to create the cities we know we need for a climate-adapted future. We're thrilled to have partnered with the Nicotra Group and DEP to design and build this green roof, and we can't wait to see what we're able to accomplish under Mayor Adams' administration to achieve a more sustainable New York City. Let's not wait till September, till Climate Week to do this again. I want to see everybody showing up every day for a more resilient New York City. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We'll take some on topic and then off topic. Yep.
Okay, anyone have an on-topic question? Go ahead, Juan.
So, Mr. Mayor, how many of roofs like this one do we have already in the city? And do you have a target for your administration on the number of them?
Yeah, and we're going to look at that. That is Rick's job to make sure we can get it right. I know as the borough president, we partnered with several greenhouses as well as rooftop gardens. We want to look at our schools, the potentiality of our children growing food and serving it in the cafeteria. So we're really going to explore how do we use urban farming to have a job build out, a healthy food on our plate, and be environmentally friendly. I think Councilwoman Hanks said it best. This is real economics. If we could expand this project, and that is one of the jobs that Rid has in front of him, and so we want to continue to expand it and grow.
Any other on?
Okay, folks, we're going to cut the ribbon, and then we do some off topic.
Dave, thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. No, thank you for coming out.
Oh, David, get in.
Come on, squeeze in there. 1, 3.
Front, down front.
Sun is out.
1, 2, 3. So we're gonna do a few on topic. So you guys can escape, you know. So let me handle. All right, Kate.
Very nice to see you well,
All right,
Mr. Mayor.
you
Very
too.
Nice to see you, well.
You too. Thank you, brother. Good.
Regarding the weapons detection system, how much is the city willing to put into that, and where is it at right now in terms of selecting an actual provider?
They start collecting any data, still in exploration. The dollar amount, Deputy Mayor Banks is looking into that. Once we have a full rollout, we'll let everyone know, and this way you can get an opportunity to observe it.
Steve, and then Chris.
Hi, Mr. Mayor. I hate to bring this up again, but your taxes. You know, mayors back to Giuliani before him have released their taxes every year. What is your general hesitation to release your taxes? What do you think about it?
No hesitation. We're going to release tax information. No hesitation. Next.
Tax information, does that mean your full return?
Tax information. We're going to release the tax information. Now, remember, I'm not required. We know that, right? So let's be clear on that. So let's not give the impression that I'm required. I'm not required. But we release tax information.
Chris, and then Aaron.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I was going to ask something about the tax returns as well, but I'll move on. The Manhattan U.S. Attorney's Office earlier today released a letter in court as part of the Rikers Monitor case where they're threatening to install new federal leadership at the jail unless you and the commissioner roll out a plan that rapidly addresses the crisis that they say exists in the jail. What do you make of this letter, and would you be open to installing federal leadership at the jail?
First of all, this is the first I'm learning of the letter. I would look over the letter and find out exactly what's taking place. We could run our jails. We could run a jail system that has been a mess for decades. And so Eric Adams, I know it's hard to believe, but I've been the mayor for 4 months now. And I believe that we're going to do a far better job than a generational problem at Rikers Island. The Rikers Island crisis did not start on January 2022. And so we're going to look over the letter and find out what are the concerns. And I think Commissioner Molina is moving in the right direction. I'm really proud of what he's doing. He's the best person to be there. Rikers was a mess. And we need to be clear on that. It did not start in January. And we're going to move forward to make it a humane place for people to serve their time. They should not be treated in an inhumane fashion.
The tax information, what is the information? Are you talking about your actual returns?
I think he answered that.
I answer, no, listen, I'm going to release tax information. I'm going to release tax information. Okay.
So there was a ruling striking down the federal mask mandate for transportation. There's been some confusion, different authorities in the city keeping it or getting rid of it. Wondering what's your reaction to the ruling, and do you think masks should still be required for the MTA, which I know you don't control, and then the TLC is keeping them, which you do control?
Yes, it should. We should still have masks on the subway system. New York is unique. We are densely populated. We see the slight spikes. I think New Yorkers did the right thing about wearing a mask, and we continue to encourage New Yorkers to wear a mask if they're in an environment where it's unknown the status of the persons or individuals they are around. And so we need to continue to do that. In addition to that, I believe, and I spoke with the governor yesterday, and my deputy mayor, my commissioner of the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene is speaking with the Department of Health. We are going to continue to encourage New Yorkers to wear masks on the subway, and we believe that we have the authorization to do so.
Alrighty, our last question will go to you.
Yes.
Hi, thank you, Mr. Mayor. You recently spoke about an idea to have greenhouses with cannabis, growing cannabis on top of sanctioned properties. Could you speak more to that and the likelihood of that happening?
What we have to do, we have to get over the federal hurdle, because right now the federal government does not recognize the legalization in the state. So we have to get over the federal hurdle. I believe there's a great opportunity for cannabis to be grown on NYCHA rooftops with an employment aspect of it and using the medical cannabis aspect of it. But there's many layers to getting it done. And we're going to sit down with the federal government, the federal agencies, see if there's a possibility to get a waiver, how we can get it done. We have to think differently about employment opportunities and using our rooftops better. And so we're willing to try everything that's possible to get those goals in mind and in line. And so if we can use it, if the federal government cooperate with us and allow us to use it, we're straight ahead to make it happen. Okay, thank you.